Hey everybody, welcome back to Ozark Mountain Goats. Getting ready to make a cheese press. I think in the last video Josie told you I might be making one, but I want to show you how to make one like this one here. This is the one I made. I think it was my last one I made. And so we're going to start cutting the pieces for it. I have some lumber here, and I've planed both sides of this down to it 3/4 of an inch, but I still have a rough edge on each side, so I'm going to rip a small straight edge on one side to get us started. That way I'll have some good lumber to do this with. This press is made out of oak. You can make your press out of pine if you like. I think oak is the way to go, or any hardwood would be okay. Whatever you can get. I happen to have oak, and that's what I'm using. It's, to me, is the best wood to use. And then when I'm all finished with it, I put a coat of butcher block on it to seal it. Here we go. So the first pieces I want to cut are going to be about 19 inches long. They're actually a little shorter, but that give me some room to cut the ends off. So I'm going to cut a piece 19 inches. While I'm cutting this, I'm going to go ahead and cut approximate same lengths as I need for each one of these, and then that way I'll be ready to go when I have to rip them down to the right size. 26, 27, 28 inches. Okay, this still has a rough edge on it, so I'm going to go ahead and rip this down a little bit so I can get me a nice clean edge to work with. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and rip these into 1.5 inch sections here, because I'm going to need one for here, and one for this other side, 1.5 inch wide. Here we go. What I'm going to do is rip down all my pieces that I want to cut into the right size pieces, but get them to the right width. And so that's what I'm doing, is taking care of that. I will probably finish this video tomorrow, because I'm not going to be able to get it all done today. The next pieces I'm going to cut are 2 3/4 inches wide. The next pieces I'm going to cut are for this 1 5/16 wide. Now I'm getting ready to rip this part here, and these are 1 1/4 inches. the arm is. If you get a close-up here, you can see that this is one piece, this is a piece, and these are two pieces, the same on each side. That way you have this arm that can move, and there's an opening in here for this to come through. And then this will be glued together, and then I also pin it with nails. So I got to cut another piece for these two right here. Okay, what I'm going to cut now is two pieces for the base here. This piece does not go all the way around. It comes to the back here and stops. You could use an 1.5-inch board if you wanted to from a lumber company. But I'm going to use two pieces of oak and glue them together, and that will give me my 1.5 inches. So I'm going to roughly cut a piece about 8 inches. That's overcutting, but I'll recut once I start assembling. So about 8 by 10 I'm going to cut. I got to do the same thing on this board here. Take an edge off because I didn't do it a while ago. I've had this Craftsman saw for 40 years. That's back when tools were tools. Two of them are 10 inches. Like I said, these are all rough cuts, and I will do my finish cut as I assemble. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these up tonight and let them sit overnight and dry. And then tomorrow I'll be back out here, and when I make a cut, they'll cut together and it'll be a nice, good finish. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is cut this piece out here, and it's just going to be a rough cut. It's going to be, I'm going to cut 11 3/4 by 4 inches. Now see these edges, I routed all these. You don't have to do that to make it a nice round edge, but if I were you and I were building one, if you don't have a router, at least sand it off so it doesn't have a sharp edge on it, and it'll make you a lot nicer press. Now tomorrow when I come back, that'll be dry, and I'm going to start ripping stuff down to the exact size I want to put it together at, and I'll have to do a lot of routering. And anyway, and when I get all the pieces cut the way I want them, we'll put her together and see what she looks like. I decided before I go in, I'm going to go ahead and plane this down, and it needs to be just about a 1/2 inch. I'll leave a little bit of room, just a little over 1/2 inch. So that's what I'm going to plane this piece down to. That will make this piece and these two little pieces that get glued on. I'm going to mark the centerpiece now and drill all my holes in here. And these holes from the top to the first hole is 2 inches to this hole to the top, and then they are 1 inch apart. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of them. So I need to cut this one. It's been playing down a little bit so that there's play in here. So I'm going to cut this one, what did I say, 18.5 inches. Now on each side of this, I've got 2 little pieces glued here, and they are about 2 3/4 inches tall, and I'm going to cut those 2 little pieces out of the same wood that I cut off. It's the same thickness. I'm going to cut a 45 on the end of them, like right here. I'm going to cut that 45. These little pieces that I just cut will sit on each side like that, and I'll glue it and leave it overnight. It'll look like that when I'm done, and like a paddle thing. And anyway, the reason that's tapered at the top is because this part here that we're going to cut in a few minutes has to sit over here, and it slides down on top of that and keeps this rod from going from side to side, and just makes it easier to slip on. Because of the drying time on this, it took like 3 days, but really you could do it in a day if you didn't have to wait on things to dry. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Be sure and like us, subscribe, and ring that bell. We'll catch you later.